Now I'd like to show you a trick with 4 coins and 4 playing cards. It goes like this. One card will go under every coin. Okay? And before I continue, I actually want to ask a quick question. Would you like the main pocket to be A or B? The spectator has a free choice, and let's say they choose B in this case. Okay? That will be the pocket where all the focus will be. And what's so important about it is that's actually where all the coins will gather. And really, all the coins have made the trip. Oh yeah! Hello everyone, Dan here. I wanted to showcase a couple phases of a magic routine called Moneyshot Explosion. These will be phases 3 through 5. Hope you enjoy it. We've got our little froggy right here, which we'll lay right here for comedic effect. And we have 4 coins, which can be examined before we even begin by a spectator, which makes it pretty hands-off for them, that they can be able to see everything and check out everything before the trick even begins in this case. So they've checked out everything to their heart's content, and with that being said, with 4 coins and 2 hands, we're going to try something pretty cool. So we'll start by asking the spectator, we have 2 points, point A and point B. Which point would you like to go towards? And let's say in this case they go towards point B, and so I'll align the coins towards point B, just like so. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean. Let me move a little forward. There we go. So we're going to take 2 coins and start off right here. Okay, and I want to be able to show that the coins will eventually end up here. Slowly, I'm still learning this effect to the best of my ability. But believe it or not, when you get the coins, and just like pow, that, you actually see all 4 go. Pretty cool. So let's actually take it a little bit further, shall we? Okay, let's actually do this. Have so much OCD on organization, like about there. Okay. Well, actually, you know what? Let's start off even slower. Yeah, I get so excited that this just becomes so much fun the whole way through this effect, so you can actually see it. Okay. What we'll actually do for this one is we'll actually get slowly. You can see all 4 coins. Okay. We're going to get one of the coins to slowly come across, just like that. That's the first one. And I like to be just very, very fair, and so you can see everything the whole way through. So I'll arrange the coins very, very neatly so you can see all 3 of them right there. 1 and 3. Check this out, believe it or not. Okay. And just like that. That's the second one go across. Okay, so let's take it even further. Okay. And what's cool about this is if I just cover the coins like so, believe it or not, you can actually see it happen. And just like that, okay? And believe it or not, I just give another little wave, little wave. You can actually get the coins to go across just like that. Pretty crazy, I know. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 coins. And now most people in this case would actually stop from the effect and just take a break, because that's a really powerful moment. This is where I would argue a lot of magicians would stop in this type of effect, per se. But let's say I wanted to actually take it further, which makes it a little bit more fun. So for this case, I actually will, dare I say, and motivate me audience with this whole journey to be able to go further than that. Okay? So, with these 4 coins, we shall arrange them like so. I want to be neat as I can about this, you know. And I know I've stressed it, but it's still so exciting for me when I'm able to do something of this nature or this type of effect, per se. And like so, believe it or not, you can just give it a little wave. You actually get coins to start appearing appearing like so. Okay, and it's a common saying, when do you know when you are successful in magic? And that's usually when you start making money. I'm Dan, and hope you have a good one. Hey everyone, Dan here, and in this video I covered the explanation side of Moneyshot Explosion, which is my dedication or my version of Dean Dill's explosion type effect. And there's been a couple people who have made little variations on it. Nathan Gibson, who I know he was a student of Dean Dill. I don't know if Griffin, like sometimes called Griff, but Griffin had created his own version, but just the wonderful effect of coins exploding, I thought it was wonderful. And I wanted to do as Dean did and build into it, and it's a showcasing of your level of skill as a performer, as their routine self, as you'll see the coins exploding, just nature of it and everything put into it, how you present it, all the phases, is an intermediate to advanced level effect. So you wouldn't want to attempt it unless you have all the knowledge and everything necessary and can do it smoothly. And I will leave out phase 2, or people are wondering about why I skipped through phase 2. It is because it is already a popular effect. I might change it later, but for now I found a effect by a famous artist, and he was, well, I'll just say his name, Ponta the Smith. Ponta the Smith is just a living, amazing coin legend in my heart and many other people's. You could watch some of his work and it's just utterly brilliant, and I wanted to take at least one thing from there and add it to my routines, and I took the backfire from it and I added to here, and I'm trying to maybe adapt it so I can maybe have it go into an explosion or mesh more into it, but I like it standalone as the phase 2 in there. So if you're wondering why I don't have phase 2, it's because it's Ponta the Smith, and you can check it on his sick DVD, so definitely check that out. On to the routines and stuff itself. Phase 1, we will use the little froggy. Ooh, well, we'll just bring out the coins. Now, this is in phase 1 of Moneyshot Explosion. It's an instantaneous matrix, which is so cool. And I try to combine a lot of ideas to kind of make it possible. I've never really seen it before, a real instantaneous version. Closest was Ponta's. I just wanted to publish this version regardless, just because I want to have a mainstream version everyone can do. So just being upfront with the whole setup of the Moneyshot Explosion, there's a couple things you need. Obviously the 4 cards, so let's say you're doing the full version with the matrix, you're going to need the 4 playing cards you can produce and then go into that. That's no big deal. You're going to need 5, or just have them in, I guess, in your wallet and say, I got 4 coins, let's do a matrix. We're being creative. And then 5 half dollars. Okay, these are just regular half dollars, candy half dollars. If you want to go the extra expense and go Walking Liberties and do a whole Walking Liberty set, go for it. But in this case, we have 5 regular normal half dollars, and they have to work well with 4 half-dollar shells. Okay, so these are 4 shell coins. I just got them along my journey, and I figured that this is the for a more streamlined, easier version for what I'm going for in this explosion type effect. Thank you, Dean Dill. That I want to just simplify it with just 4 shells, and it doesn't need to be multi shells and all that stuff. It's just 4 shells and we get that routine going. And these shells will be placed with the outer side. So this is the outside of or the inside peering out, and then this is the front. Okay, so you have this side, inside, pointing away from you. Okay, so away from the gluteus maximus. So they would be like this, going into the back pocket with the outside pointing away. Okay, and then the other set, I would grab one of the half dollars. Saying this is only for assuming you're doing the full version. Otherwise, you can just skip ahead to the phases. I'll timestamp everything so you don't have to worry about it. So you put one of the coins into the shell, and then one more shell, so like this. And again, they're both pointing away, but with the coin in the shell. Okay, so you can see shell, coin goes in, okay, and the outer coin would be furthermost with the coin inside of it, and these two go into the back pocket over here. So you want to most likely be standing because you don't want to sit too much pressure accidentally and crush a shell, or just be very light as you sit and cautious as you sit. You don't want to damage the shells. Usually you can just do this standing or laying low, so you got that. And apologies if I'm out of frame at all in this case. So let's say with that out of the way, the setup out of the way, we can do the phase one, which is very clean. It's just 4 regular coins, as you can see. 4 regular coins and 4 cards. So we get the coins, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can go in the usual type matrix. Again, you would, well, not again, but you would have to bend the cards. This is the old classic of the matrices, just bending them. Like kind of like a 3-card Monty style, but it's also to do the old classic grip. We're doing a modified version of the old classic steel and coin, but we're going to get it for all instantaneous all at once. So we start whichever side. Doesn't really matter too much. So let's say we start closest to my dominant hand. We go and we pick a coin. And I tend to pick it up with the 2nd and 3rd fingers. Okay? I believe that is how it's done. I'm refreshing on this, but it's just the general idea of it. Okay? And as you're doing that, so 2nd and 3rd fingers, some people argue for 1st and 2nd, depending on what you're going for. But in this case, what I'm going for in this routine, 2nd, 3rd fingers, okay? And as we're doing that, our 1st finger and 2nd finger, or middle finger, or you could use the 4th-finger, whichever, okay? No, it is the middle finger. So it is 1st finger and 2nd finger, which is the middle finger, okay? We just take it and we take off the top card and place it down in place of where the coin should be. And I say that because we have stolen one out. This is the old classic matrix we know and love, and everyone's like, skip it! But this is just the importance of it for those who do not know. 2nd, 3rd, pick it up, you contact it, but then you can contact with the 1st finger. I noticed this is my little subtlety. I contact with this 1st finger. When it comes down, I switch to the 2nd finger. So there's a little bit of subtlety, hand manipulation. That's cool. That's what I wanted to communicate. So it comes in with the 1st finger, you notice this, but then when I lay it down, it's with the middle finger. Oh, that's interesting. The subtleties you learn. So we got that. We've stolen 1 coin. What we're going to do from here is we're going to drop it into the, I call it the recessive. So dominant is the main hand you start with, or main hand you use. The recessive is the receiving hand, or you could call it receiving hand if you want. This is my right hand in this case, but when you see it from the camera, it might look left. Just bear with me here, okay? You just drop it into the hand. So after we've laid down the card, okay? We're going towards the 2nd coin right here. As we're doing so, we look like we're getting prepared. Deal the next card, okay? We're going to drop this coin into the finger palm, which is the 2nd and 3rd fingers of the, in my case, right hand. I let it fall into there, okay? And I turn away to cover right here the action of exposing this, okay? So we just have it in the 2nd and 3rd fingers right here, okay? And as we're going towards the next card, we drop it, okay? And it'll be right here as we continue along. So in action, okay, we're going to steal the 1st one. We've stolen off, okay? And we've now about to put the card on the next one, and it's already in finger palm, okay? So that's 1 coin stolen, okay? Now as we go for this coin, we're doing the same action again. 2nd, 3rd fingers, pick it up. Hand deals down. Oh, you could deal it with the 1st and 2nd finger. So a little subtlety if you want to deal with the middle, 1st, 2nd, however you want to go about it. Cool. So we've stolen another coin at this point, okay? So 2 are stolen. We've got 1 in each hand so far, okay? Now we're going to go for a 3rd coin, and we get to let the audience choose. This is kind of a cool part, a little break away from the usual matrix. They get to choose which coin goes next. And during this point that they get to choose, you get to even point it out. And this is a big subtlety because we want to get this coin that's currently stolen into classic palm. Okay, but to try to do that is kind of obvious, and it's excessive motion that would attract attention. So we do this by doing a usual ruse. Okay, so I say, oh, and you get to choose in this case. Would you like it to be in the left pocket or the right pocket, A or B? You get to choose. And while they're doing that whole action, you're just relaxed over here. This is the larger action is right here, pointing out, stressing all this. The smaller action is you taking the coin that was here, letting it fall into fingertip rest, loose finger palm, okay, and then just shoving it right into classic palm, which is really nice. Okay, now I should mention this routine is for intermediate to advanced people. You should not be trying to attempt. It's at least a little bit of an intermediate one, just to be comfortable with fingertip rest or to have some comfortability, and then get into classic palm and being comfortable in classic palm. I just say it because I don't want to discourage new people in coin magic. It's like, this is so hard. Yes, this is a more advanced routine. Anyway, so they choose A or B, and let's say they choose B in this case. You go, wonderful choice. You've got the coin in classic palm. You've got one in finger palm. Okay, you've got two stolen. Now you've got the availability to steal one more in the same positioning. Okay, remember to, because you've been gesturing and everything, just give the cards a little bit of a crimp before you start, just to make sure it's what's worked for me. We steal the third coin, okay, as we lay the card down in a smooth action. Very cool. And we have now the third coin right here. Okay, last one, or they actually, sorry, in this case they chose that to be the center spot. My apologies. So they chose that to be a center spot. Just showing you a scenario if that was to happen, how it would look. There you guys go. So now we've stolen this one off, okay, that being the main spot, okay, and from here we would want to set the card, and you set it with, ooh, coin got loose. You want to be aware of that and repositioning. Okay, so just be aware of your movements because it can loosen the classic palm coin. And I make this a note of this and keep it in here because I want everyone to be aware that, you know, we all have to adapt. If it fell out in this case, I can still cover with my thumb. This is a good learning point. Okay, even if it broke out a classic palm, I could still make it work as a performer. I lay the card down. In any scenario, you would want to lay the card down. Okay, boom, and you're covered, even in the worst case. And then you can just let it go into fingertip rest, relax, classic palm, you're all good, or fingertip palm for what you're going to do. But let's say it didn't fail. It wasn't that hardcore as I would have had to do for this scenario. Okay, so we got it comfortably in classic palm. Okay, we got the coin we've stolen from fingertip rest to finger, or it's stolen right here, and we like to fall into fingertip rest. Okay, one coin is at the finger palm and is holding the card like so. Okay, boom. So we got it right here. And so how do we do this? There's two options to going about this, but I tend to opt for the most safe strategy in this case, which is just laying the card down with both hands. And it looks very innocent, just laying it down and trying to adjust for the coins that could pop out, make sure they're inside but not clinking. And so we could put a little bit of extra tension, having a little bit of hand motion and control in that case. The other scenario is that we take the card in a single hand, and this is for the more bold and who want to do this. You have the coin, one coin underneath right here and one coin in finger palm. So then you lay the first coin down and then you resituate the second coin and you try to push it underneath the card as you lay it down and try to cover the card without trying to expose any or much of the coin, which puts it more at risk but creates a more sense of naturality. And see, notice even if I lay it down like just a little bit that way, it's flashing, a little bit that way, it's flashing, it's not even covering the card. What are you doing? So so that's why I tend to just opt for the little bit odd situation at first, but it's still pretty natural. Just laying it down, boom, like you make it special that the card's underneath. And look, now it looks natural. Nice. Okay, we now have the coin still in classic palm. You let it fall into finger palm. Okay, And then from here, so we'll go back again. So it's everyone's following along. Fingertip rest or finger palm, whichever. This is in finger palm. We've got one card left, and then we take it with both hands. We lay it down, okay? No sound, no clinking. Looks fair, looks nice. Cool, all the cards have been covered. It seems like there's one card under every coin. We let the coin fall from classic palm to finger palm, okay? We let it come underneath, and I know this is hard to describe, but this is a Dean Dill gesture, okay? Let me actually use an extra card for simulation purposes. Okay. What it's going to look like from this side angle, so everyone can see, is that the coin is going to finger to rest. Okay. We're going to let it hit and contact the table. Okay. This is why you need a padded surface like plush, so it doesn't make the sound. Otherwise, this will not work because this is a Dean Dill idea. That's why I get my mats. And if you want it, go to Pat's Mats. That's just like the best. Anyways. Enough shameless plugging for a friend aside. You got the coin, it's falling right here, and you have it covered or shaded, okay? So, fingertip palm, you let it contact table, okay? And once you contacted that, your thumb contacts the outer edge of the card and pushes down on it, which creates a gap, okay? And with that gap, you're able to sleekly slide the coin right inside. Okay, as you lift up the card and show, ooh, one and went inside. So there could be nothing here, okay? And then in essence, thumb touches the card. And I'll do it once more from the side, okay? Thumb touches the back, or can slide, touch the back. And look, it pops up a little. Ooh, that's just what we need, okay? So then our coin goes from finger palm, touches the table, maybe it fully hits the table, whichever the case, and then all you do is your fingers slide the coin right on in very sleekly as you naturally pick up the card and can show a coin is underneath. That is super cool and a Dean Dill gesture. We're going to apply that same gesture, and was also featured in the, well, popularized again in the Sick DVD by Paul to the Smith. So we're going to do that idea where we get it, okay? And I don't even think it's a Dean Dill gesture, but it's popularized by him too. And we slide it in there, and then we can show all four. Okay? So you're like, okay, bring it back, Danny. Okay? Classic palm, 2 coins. Again, we've laid down the card. Okay? Gucci, we are Gucci. We see 1 coin, but it looks fair. Seems like there's a coin under everything. Okay? Classic palm to finger palm. Classic palm to finger palm. Finger palm to contact the table, maybe letting it fully hit the table, but it's still shaded. Thumb touches the back of the card as we slide the coin on in to show seemingly an instantaneous matrix of all 4. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And then you can show all the others and that people really were destroyed by it. Super cool. Okay, rewind that down. Let's bring it back to normal speed. Okay. Let's do it. We crimp cards again. Okay, so this is just a fun practice session. It's like you're learning with me in person, but not. Okay, and they get to choose A or B, whichever they want, they can do. And they choose, let's say, A in this case, just for alternate scenario. Okay, we steal that one, but we don't say that. Okay, we're gonna put a card on top, being totally fair. Yeah. Then we lay this card down very, very carefully. And you can be as careful as you want, but in a very fair, quick manner, which is nice. You can do all that because you have 2 hands working on it. Nice. Anyways, so you got that. Everything looks fair and copacetic. Okay, you're not even doing re-shows or re-displays. All you do is you just lift up this card and you show all 4, and people are mind blown. Sure, amazing. And that's kind of what I wanted, because I feel like so many people have done Matrix and it's almost so overdone, even though it's not. So adding some unique twist to it, which I haven't seen before in all the publishings and stuff, I think it's pretty cool and applies a lot of everyone's ideas to the epitome of what is an instant matrix on phase 1. Kind of wild.
So then we would do phase 2, which is the backfire matrix by Ponce Smith currently, until I maybe modify enough to be original. But until then, it's just a great phase that we would do to phase 2. And the next part, we would skip to phase 3, which I think I'm going to call phase 4 I'm going to call phase rush. But level 3, I think it'll be something you'll enjoy. This next bit, which I call Brainstorm for Mooey, is my dedication to Peter Mooey. And it's kind of funny because I've known him as a kid while I was at Magic Castle, and he was a Magic Castle server. Very good friend of Dean Dill. Well, leading up to it, the whole joke, I would say, you know, when I saw that Brainstorm thing where the coins would all assemble at once, no gaffes, it was amazing. And I learned it was by Peter Mooey. I'm like, the guy at Magic Castle. Wait, really? So I would run all there all the time, and anytime I saw, I would say, Peter Mooey, you gotta do Brainstorm. And it would always be a polite, professional, no, I can't right now. You know, maybe I forgot or something of that nature. And then, lo and behold, the sad day came where Dean Dill, living legend, had passed on, and I had said, Peter Mooey, if there was ever a time, you got to do it just once. And lo and behold, after much back and forth, he got to do Brainstorm, which is pretty cool. And I think, whether you think it or not, Peter, I think it's kind of a hilarious, but yet beautiful closing to a wonderful person. And I wanted to offer my touches to the classic to let it live on, because, you know, Dean Dill may have popularized it, but Peter, you're awesome, okay? Just want to get that out of the way. What can a magician do without these trick cards? And just 4 normal coins. What can you do, Magic Man? Is the questions that's usually asked. And I say, you know, let's try something. And this is how you can go with spectators. The cards are set aside, and it's just 4 coins. Your gaffs are set up in your pockets, need to be, and it's just this beautiful moment. What can you? It's just like they're sneering at you. What can you do, Magic Man? Why I find myself in these situations regularly is beyond me. But anyways, so they get to choose. They can choose their pocket in this case, A or B. And whichever way it goes is the way you can guide the coins. And that's how the trick actually is working. So you need to be guided. So let's say they choose this pocket. You line the coins about the center, but evenly like so. There, like that way. They say that side, then just realign. They change their mind, just keep on swapping which way. But let's just say this way in this case. Okay. And so we can show our hands empty. Okay, they can examine it before we begin, and we're like, so. Okay? And they're already mind blown pretty hard by that backfire phase 2, which is kind of nice. Okay, so beginning, without delay. We're going to, in the usual style, and I've probably showcased it before in a performance, okay? We're going to first take the first 2 coins, okay? And we're going to slide them to opposite corners, okay? And it's these little touches which makes it a little bit more unique or more direct. And I think this is just maybe my own style. I think there's something to learn here, okay? I really think there's something to this. So we showcase what's going to happen. And a larger action of this coin coming, and I mean pointing at the coin, okay? And then our hand coming down, and we're just gesturing. And we have all this shade of this larger action seeming like we are covering 2 coins to cover the whole action, which is so cool. You'll understand in 1 second. So we're first pointing, we're showcasing, everything seems open and fair, okay? And as we come back, our arm is shading the fact that there's a coin, should be a coin right here, but there is nothing. The coin is actually being ridden along the palm, okay? Or the heel, right here. Okay, it rides right along and continues along, where people assume because of the shade that there is a coin right here, and you continue along. We haven't, seemingly there's an honest thing where you haven't done anything yet. Okay, so we have these 4 coins, we put them off to one area very fairly, we point, showcasing everything, okay? Now we come together. We've already stolen the coin heel clip. We come together towards these 2 coins. And it seems, since we've been so fair in the first actions, that everything seems like it's just going to be setting up to be at least be correctly before the magic begins. But we're already setting up hugely so that the magic can begin. Okay, so as we've stolen it out, okay, we've stolen off, come this way, arm shields it, okay, for the shade. We then, hands come together, and then during the hands coming together, okay, I think of forefinger to forefinger is the perfect moment for the shade. The left palm takes everything, okay, and that's the hidden action, that left palm takes everything. As the right hand, in this case, this hand, comes forward like it has something. So it seems like, in essence, and I'll first do the action, okay? And we go like this, okay? So then we've stolen 3 coins. There's nothing here. Seems like there's something, but there's nothing here. And then coins come forward and explode. Now, don't go jumping too far yet. Hold on. There's a couple things, okay? So you've done this. Gesture showed, okay? Come forward. Then a little, kind of a semi-prayer hands. And we've stolen the coins right here. Because what we're doing is we're seemingly showing the coins. And we got to first simulate what the real action is. If we don't do the false action without ever knowing what the real action is, then we won't know what we're trying to simulate. And then the specters won't buy into it. You're going to think it's a cruddy trick. And then everything's terrible. Just imagine doing this for a couple times so you can get the real simulation of what it's like. Dean Dill did it. And I'm making sure that it's showcased too. Seems like you're just coming forward, showing 2 coins very fairly. Okay, coming back, and even if it was shaded, it would still be the right action. Boom. Okay, coming forward, and this is me actually doing the action. Okay, boom, and then you can maybe showcase 4 if it was a normal thing, if it was really fair, and then boom or something, and it would join. But we're actually doing all the sneaky actions during the way, which is so cool. We can showcase, show 4. Okay, show 4 very fairly. Steal, okay, nothing here. Come forward, act like we're putting 1 over here, okay, 3 over here. Hand comes forward like so, squeeze. Okay, I'm just slowly adding the actions all together so we can do it. Okay, goes to the side, show, okay, steal. Okay, now this hand comes at the same time this one comes. I'm trying to slowly teach it to everyone so they can get all gestures all at once. Okay, and then pop, and then you show all 4. But Dan, what about the other side? Okay, so we get the other side as well. Still same thing, just think of the same actions. Just the same general actions, okay? Slide 2 coins to the outer edge. You showcase very fairly, okay? You steal that coin as they assume it's going to be at the arm still. Okay, as this hand comes back. And then it's normal that the coins clink because your hands are coming together. Okay. And then hand comes up. Seems like you're going to do something gesture here, but boom, and then all coins come together. Okay, I'm doing this in a bunch of slow motion so everyone can adapt because I know it's a lot to adapt to. But I try to give the gestures to make it easier and timing so you don't have to feel like it's fast or anything. And in this case it doesn't, so it's cool. So left or right, they choose whichever. They choose this way, they choose this way. So let's say this way, okay? In this case. So you get to learn it both ways and it makes you more adaptable in essence. Which is a nice thing to have. Okay, we show it, okay. We then steal. Hands come together, go like this. Hand comes up, and we don't want to flash in any point. I just want to make sure that that tip is covered. We don't want to flash. Hand comes over, and we've already done this one. We've already done at the same time. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So normal motion, it would look like. So let's just say it this way. Okay. So we show 2 coins. Boom, very fairly. Okay. I really want to make it happen, and then boom, boom, like so. Other side, Danny, we want to make sure everything's covered. I don't want to hear excuses in the comment section. Rah! Okay. Anyways, so we show, there we go. Okay, steal, there's nothing here. Come around, boom, boom, and then boom. Okay? Again, I'm still in tutorial mode. For real, Danny. For real. For reals. You want to be as fair as you can. You don't want to show that you're doing anything right. Okay? We're going to be fair and doing some cool stuff, and boom. See? There you go. I think I've covered enough angles that you get a general idea of how it works. It's really cool. And the fact that you can do it anytime, anywhere, as long as there is a good surface that doesn't, like, make noise. I think you get the idea. So that is phase 3. So in phase 4, which I call phase rush, we're going to actually do a sponge ball type gesture to get the setup going. And it's going to lead up to the final setup for the full explosion. Now in this case, they've done the explosion, boosh, and they see all the 4 coins go. They are amazed. Let's say you're just doing this routine solo, then you would just start with you would only need, for this routine, 1 shell for phase rush, okay? But in my case of explosion, we're actually going to be shelling 2 of them. But Dan, how do we get that without the audience noticing? And you mentioned the setup is in the back pockets, right? Yeah, we're going to cover that, don't worry. So we got this, boom, they exploded. Everyone's amazed. And at this point, you'd never really let the audience examine it too much. So this is a good point where you can, or maybe you loosely as I did, you can let someone else examine them. Again, make sure they're not trap doors. So, you know, you gesture to someone else and you let them examine it, and they're doing that, okay? However you go about it, at this point you are going to step back and just be casual. And during this time, you would go into your back pockets and steal 1 shell from each back pocket. Okay, if you want to use jacket pockets, you could, but just for the sake of argument, we're going to use back pockets. And it's just like the usual thing. I'm just stepping back, letting the audience enjoy it, examine everything. The heat's off me, and I just steal it out. You would do this in sponge ball routines, and if it's worked for sponge ball routines and cups and balls and Gazzo, that could probably work for you. Just practice. It's just practice and audience management, timing, and maybe a little bit of ruses and misdirection. Whatever is your fancy. Okay, so we've gone in our back pockets while we're all chilling. Okay, we've stolen out a coin. Okay, or a shell, and they're in each hand. And when we get the coins back, how we go about it, you can get them back 1 at a time, or maybe 2. There's so many ways you can go about it. You can actually just show these coins, and then as you're casual talking to spectators, you can slide them in their shells, and then set them down, and you're good. That's one way you can go about it. Another way is you get all the coins, you set them on the table, you're casually making comments to spectators, just relaxing. You can then shell them, or you can, there's so many ways you can go about this. You can just do into like a purse palm and double shell the coins if you're not worried about sound too much, okay? There is another reasoning you can do, or additional reasoning, one that I use, is that as you're going for it, we're finished phase 3, all the coins have maybe popped in a corner, you just want to do as unique phase, whichever, and you want a reason just to go in your back pockets. You go, usually I stop there, at the end of it, I do 2 matrix phases, maybe a big closer, boom, and I usually stop there, and I usually just pack it in, I call it a day. And as you seemingly do the gesture where you're just relaxing, your hands are just in your pockets, you're just not wanting to do anything, be associated with that, you're standing back. You're allowing a natural gesture, but in the same way, you're also using that to take advantage of the coins. And then you go, but if I really was to, and you're really asking for the next phase, then maybe we can do, and then you can load up 2 shells, and then you can go right into the routine, which is really nice, need be. So that's how you get 2 shells into there. There is dropping the coins on the table into heel clip and then dragging them back into the palms where you can re-shell. There are many ways to be able to shell the coins and make it work, as Dean Dill has shown in many of his work. Check out Dean Dill's DVDs, not a promotion or anything, but he's a great guy. And he's a legend, okay? I madly respect the guy. In any case, you can get 2 shells on it. If you are just doing this routine solo, again, you can just start with 4 coins and a shell to start and you're good. But I wanted a routine that can be able to work with 2 shells. Whether or not I need to use them was irrelevant, but so that I can set up for the big explosion at phase 5. So I get the coins however they do. I get them shelled. And in this case, I'm going to work with 2 shells, even though the second shell is never used. So you can just imagine it's just working with 1, okay? So going into the phasing, we've loaded up 2 of the coins. So I should also mention as we load them up, how we go about it. We show coins. Ooh, ooh, and now your hands are clean and 2 shells are on. I should also take this moment to mention that some of these phasing, even though I do have some now original ideas on it, it is based on a matrix routine my mentor had loosely covered for me, and I had adapted to my own. So I don't know how it came to be, because I've been doing searches and I haven't found anything unique. This is pretty unique. And I should also note the positioning. Danny, it's not working. Something's off. Okay, the coins have to be in position with the... And I'll make sure this starts with it. The positioning is first coin has a shell on top of it. Okay, closest towards me. Second coin, nothing. Third coin, nothing. Fourth coin has a shell on it. Okay, any other way that the coin will not go on top of another shell coin, if you're wondering why it's not working. Okay, so I'll try to make sure this part goes first, describing the situation. So it's shell coin, no shell, no shell, shell. If you're doing it for the whole explosion effect. If you're not, and you're just doing it regularly, then all you need, then forget this. Don't worry, it's safe. But you just make sure that the just the front shell is right here. If you're just doing it as like just a regular normal version. I just want to do this one trick. Okay, just 1 shell and you're good. Okay. Ooh, we've got the second shell right there. Okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this. So we start out with, actually I can source this one. It's the first phases of the translocation by John Kennedy, which was also popularized by Dean Dill. You'll notice a theme here in referencing. And so we generally have the coins, and what we're going to be doing is getting the coins into position of the recessive hand, your non-dominant hand. But in the nature of doing so, we are going to use mainly, as we're adapting this, and we're going to be stealing a coin, we're going to be stealing with our dominant hand. Okay, we're going to be using the purse palm in this case, first finger and ring finger. This is why you want coins that are adapted to your hand size. So if you have really huge hands, maybe consider dollar coins. But in this case, clip. Okay, we clip it in purse palm, and then we come set it forward. Okay, so like this. So let's imagine all the other coins are aside. Let's just focus on this for a second. Purse palm, what is it? Okay, first finger contacts the edge right here. Ooh, pinky contacts the other side, and then we grab it with a fine touch. It takes some practice, like a kind of intermediate level technique, and you get it. Ooh, it can still fall out. So we got the coin. Okay, so we clip it, and then we move forward, and so we're in like this position, so you can see a check, a status check of what it looks like, and then we heel clip it. Okay, that's why you notice this ooh kind of thing for me. Ooh, every time I do it, you'll see it like ooh, see that, and then all you see in place is that coin, but under the heel, went around like palm, heel, whichever is right around the coin. I tend to write it around right here, more towards the right side, like in between the palm and the heel. Dean Dill loved the heel, so you find your own preference, especially if you're sitting. That doing this up here might give me carpal. So anyways, we got that free. Okay, so that's how the main source or the main start to the routine is being able to do a purse palm, get that, and do this. Okay, because we're going to be doing that a couple times throughout the routine. Okay, so then we can be setting the coins over here, and I tend to give a theme that I have like OCD, kind of. I like things a certain way, and so we can show that the coins are lined up on the side, maybe symmetrical, looks nice. Dean actually tried to make the coin look invisible. He would try to take one off. Ooh, can I make it look invisible? No, and then he would try to do that. In the original and the others, I just think it's kind of cool, and that's a cool thing you could play with. Definitely check out his material. It's so great. And that's how I got this far. How I do in this case is I just purse palm the last coin. Okay, slowly ride it over the third coin. So again, we wouldn't make it obvious. We just casually clip it, come forward over, and there's our hand, and make sure it slides over perfectly onto the the third coin, okay? So purse palm, and we want to clip it and then cover it. And as we do, this hand has nothing, and you go watch this, hands come over, okay? As we made sure the coin is shelled, we can then do an elegant presentation, maybe a boosh, maybe a left, maybe a, however you want to go about it. Boo. Whichever the case. Boom, boom, and one has gone across. Cool. Now, using the dominant hand, not the recessive hand, because we need to get across. This is our lax reasoning. We seemingly are very fair as we purse palm off a coin, we steal it back into the heel, okay? As we move the coins into position, like we're just reorganizing the coins. We really want to make it fair, okay? And you want to have them lined up like this, not too spaced apart, because you need to reshell them, depending on how you're going about it, but just a good suggestion, okay? So we've lined on up, and we've stolen out the coin, okay? Education purposes flash. And we come on over. Same thing as before, and this is something to practice. This is where your practice comes in. Purse palm the coin, okay? Getting it off onto the second coin, making sure it locks. You can maybe do a half-second check, maybe peek through your little window hole right here need to be. Boom. And then once you made sure it's going, you can just lift up and show. Boom. Okay? And then so we do that, take it off, steal it, and then we reset up all the coins. And again, if you're worried about any kind of slight noises in this case, or if it's totally dead silent, then you could maybe do music to theme up the magic moment if you want. And there's clever other ideas you can do as well, but that's just a loose suggestion for that. Okay, so clip the purse palm coin, have it lay onto the other one, make sure it lines on up. Okay, maybe do a little wave. Right spot, ooh, right here, boosh, and then you show 3 coins, 1 coin has traveled across. Okay, you do not steal off of this hand, you have to use the opposite hand. That's something I had to burn into my brain so many times. so many times. Anyways, okay, and then so we've stolen it off, coin is now going over here. Okay, watch it again, purse palm, goes around the top, make sure it lands. Booyah, and if it doesn't land yet and you're worried, make sure you can tap with the heel right here to make sure it lands. Boo, you can delay it, bow, and then you can show, because it was right here in this point, here's learning moment. It was like, I'm about to do it, oh wait, I can push it, oh it landed, it's fully clipped, booyah, and then you get a clean display. So just being mindful there are ways out of it, which is kind of nice. From here, we now push the coins up, 1 shell right here, and 1 normal coin right here. So the positioning is on my dominant hand, coin right here. Oh, no, let me make sure it's lined up. Okay, coin here, they're normal, okay? They're normal ones. And on this side is both shell coins. Again, we're only going to be using one of the 2 shells in the front, is the one that we've been using all along. So we've got that. And we're going to be using the same gesture as before, but also to set up for this cool matrix where you can see coins jump every which way. We do that by stealing off, or we lift off the shell using the purse palm. We heel clip back the coin like before, okay? Set that coin in position. And think of it this way, this is the easy way to think of it for this part of the routine of Face Rush. The idea is that this coin with the shell does not move, it stays pretty much the same, okay? And so these are my ideas on my mentor's original routine. I was trying to learn something for the Magic Castle feature stars. He suggested this one. And so again, if anyone knows in the comments section who to credit this section to with my own gestures, let me know. So as we do this, we go for cover. This is my own little sequence. Cover, cover. And we're going to see coins going across, but I first want to create like a mystery, like with sequencing. It's all going to happen in sequence. 1, 2, and we're just taking the coin, secret coin along with us. That's always been there. Okay, 1, 2, after we've stolen this one off. This is, again, just a shell in case anyone's wondering. Okay, so from the beginning, steal it off there, and now we're going to do something cool. Cover, cover, and then at this point, I'm going to use my opposite hand to heel clip this coin. It's going to ride with me, and this coin is going to stay at the front position. So you steal off the shell from under the coin from underneath, and you place it back right here. So it's next to it. Ooh, so that's 2. And now you walk with this one. So boom. Now you're walking, and now they see 2, 1, 1 in their whole field of view, which makes everything copacetic. Okay. And then my hand comes over the front coin. Okay. And then my other hand over here comes over here. Boom. And I can give it a wave. And this hand can come across and like this, and you got 2 for 2. Okay. You can also do an additional wave as you do it. So it can look like this. Cover, cover, if you want, and then boom. You get the same phasing if you want, or you can just go into that. So boom, boom, and you can show 2 if you want. So it's really dependent upon how you want to do it, but I just tend to do it boom from here. Okay. Then I come up. This is how I actually do it. Come up, boom. Then I come back and I place the coin that I had in my palm here back, and I steal this one off. Okay? Comes off. And so now it looks copacetic again. One goes back, boom. And then hands cover here. Nothing happens yet. The coin is still stolen here, but it just comes back, but doesn't let go. And then my hand goes across. This is the important part. The dominant hand goes all the way across, and I give it a little wave. And then I steal the coin off that was over here while leaving the coin over here. Over here. So boom. Okay? So, going back, I'm going to go so far so we can catch up. Steal off the coin so you can just watch as we go along. There we go. Okay? So, boom, boom, boom if you want. Boom. That's 2. And I do another little wave. 2 for 2. I now do an extra wave right here. Boom, little wave. Now it comes back. Boom. Nothing's happening. They're like waiting, waiting, waiting. Hand comes across. Give it a little wave if you want. And then your hand comes across with the stolen coin. They can see 3. And then your hand can casually come across as this hand comes across towards the front. And then just boom. And you can steal off this coin as all 4 coins make a trip. Boom. And I was like, wait, what? Then, as the usual Dean Deal gesture, you will locate the shell coin very casually. I find it. Sometimes I can't even tell the shell coins amongst the real ones. And then hands come together. And as they come together, my hand puts the shell on top of one of the coins as it takes it across. So you could fairly show 2 coins. Okay. Then we take the other 2 coins. We set it here. And then you're all copacetic. With the shell coins ending in 2nd and 4th position, just make sure you check. You can always, as you're setting them down, you can check if it's shelled or not. So that's always kind of cool. The one way I can tell. Well, it is shelled. Yeah, we're good. So 2nd and 4th, and then we're all good. And so you leave in a very clean ending, which is very, very nice, and helps to lead into the final phase of the coin explosion. But if you just want to do this phase, then this is a real winner, just using 1 shell. Again, you're like, well, why do I need a 2nd shell? This is, again, if you're only doing the full explosion. Otherwise, you only need 1. And again, the advantage is it's really cool. It's nice. It has a nice break or transitions from the Matrix to coins. It's like a chink chink, but it's all over the table, and then leading to the final one where they explode. But again, this is a cool thing on its own if you just want to amaze someone. I love it. I hope you love it. This is Phase Rush with my own input, and again, credit to my original mentor who had shown me this, and that I had remembered all these years later. I thought I'd forgotten, but I was searching. Here's the whole motivation for it. I was searching for a phase where I can do a on the table chink and chink kind of thing with 2 shells in play. If I can use 2 shells, great. If I can't, can I make it still work in there so I can do another setup to load the other 2 shells, and then we're all good. And this is what I ended up choosing through all the hundreds of versions that could be possibly used. This one has a really nice thing and makes people smile. Just like goes, wait, what? And it's simple enough for the performer that less of the focus can be on the trick once you get it down. It takes a while, lots of practice, but once you get it down, it's just becomes really easy, and you can focus more, as I love to do, on the audience, which is oh so important. So hope you enjoyed this, and then now we're going to jump into the final part, which is the explosion part of it. Ooh yeah. So now we made to part 5 of the money shot explosion routine. Either you have done this with the phasing, going from phase 1 to 5, or this is an individual phase. So we'll handle both situations accordingly. So to begin, let's say we have been doing phases 1 to 5, and this is an additive phase. We want to get the final part of the setup. So we still have the shelled coin with the shell and the coin in the back pocket with the other shell inside of there. Okay, and that also goes in the back pocket. Or I mean just the shell. My bad, just the shell. So shell, shelled coin, shell with coin. I just say shelled coin. Okay, so we have that, and we completed phase 4. Now, if we are doing this per se not impromptu, but as a setup, let's say we're just doing this individual setup, covering all situations, then in this case, what we do is we start with all four coins on the table or in display, or when we bring them out, will be shelled. In this case, let me get that one shelled. And then we would start with a $50 in classic palm position, and then just go from there with the whole phasing. So if you're doing this individual phase, it's just a cool explosion, and you just want to make the coins explode, then you just set them up, and you're in position with that. And then since it's a total of 9 coins, you're all good. But for the situation where we're continuing off the explosion and doing it as individual phasing, let me continue that. That goes right there, and this, let me see. This goes right here. Okay, so 1, 3. Okay, so we start from the phase 4 where 2 coins are shelled and we place them right here, and 2 coins are not shelled, they're normal. Okay, we want to ring in the shelled coin and the $50 shell. How do we go about this? Okay, when we start from this position, we finish the routine, we end here. How do we do it, Danny? Okay, so we begin by saying, whoa, cool. So they saw it. Whoa, amazing. And then you comment to them again. So it's like a continued callback. You would say to them, and I'm being careful while I sit for the shells. I know. I make it a continual thing because I don't, as I care about my things not getting damaged, I also want to make it a continual reminder so no one else's get damaged. Continuing. I would usually mention to spectators, hey, I think I'm good. Normally, and I can take a step back if I want to. Normally I don't go any further. This is normally the finish line. And in the past it was. Seeing that, and then you end, cool. Or pick the coins up, put them away, cool. And everyone was amazed. And that's honestly not an untrue statement. Usually that's where people stop. And you can relax again. Like before, cans go in the back pocket. And in this case, we finger palm the shell coin in one hand. Okay? And we can also flip it, so need to be so that the coin side is up. We're going to be swapping this coin out for one on the table in a second, you'll see. And then the shell. Okay, so we go back, palm it. Normally I don't do this, but since you guys are motivating me, I'll try something else. So, and you say you've got to examine these before, check them all out. I pick up the 2 shelled coins as I do this, so I pick up those up first and display them. Second one, I'm going to do 2 things at once, okay? With this coin, I pick up the 3rd coin right here. I'm going to pick it up, and as I talk to spectators, I'm going to shell the coin right here. So that is the action for this coin, okay? So again, as I pick both coins up, with this hand, it's going to pull its coin in and shell it, okay? And that is the action for this one. Now on the other one, this one, the first coin, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to do a quick little switch that I've seen in many Michael Rubenstein DVDs, believe it or not, and a couple other DVDs. I think Mike Gallo goes into this and a couple other people, but it's just a basic little switch. You get this coin. I don't know if it's a Judah switch. I believe it's in the beginning, not in the beginning there were coins. In Modern Coin Magic by J.B. Bobo. Yes, the non-Dover version.
So come in, clip that with the first finger and thumb, clip that coin, and then set it using your thumb. You can position it on the back, and you can set it right on the table. And you have effectively swapped out the coin, because this right here is the shelled coin. Cool. So we're swapping out that regular coin, first finger and thumb, like so. So you just pick it on up. So far, goes into thumb clip. So first finger guides it right into the web of the thumb. Thumb clips it, and then you can set the coin, the switch out coin that was in finger palm, on the table, and you can help guide it with the thumb clipping from the back. Boom. And if you're worried about it being shelled, you can even flip it over again, so you're good. Okay, so if you're worried about shell side up, oh, that's something odd. Why is there an outline? Okay, then in that case, after you set on the table, you can flip it over again, need be, and you're all good. Okay, and then from the thumb clip, you can easily let it relax and fall into finger palm, so you're not worried there. Okay, so when you combine both actions, okay, let me swap back. So these are 2 regular coins, 2 shell coins right here. We're going to focus on the 1 and 3, okay, from this point. But for the people around me and wanting to see this, I am going to make it super special for everyone here, okay? And let me redo it. So I would, again, in slow motion, I'll do this in slow motion. Pick up both coins, one goes in the shell, and I can maybe do an upwards gesture, and I've swapped out this coin and just set it on the table, okay? I need to flip it over in this case, okay? And I set them both on the table. Boom, everything is as it should be. Let the coin fall from thumb palm to finger palm, and all 4 coins are on the table. Again, one more time in slow motion. Okay. Boom. Pick it up. This one goes in. Just think into the shell. Thumb clip. And then we set it down. We don't want to avoid the click, so we don't let it slam down like that. But instead, we just like to do a simple set. Okay. I try to cover all contingencies. And so if these things pop up, we can address it, so when it comes to your performance, it can look really, really nice. Okay? And now enough in slow motion and covering scenarios in normal motion. Okay? Let me set it up. Okay. So we're all set there. Okay, and you know, normally I don't go that far, but for you guys and me wanting to make a special little impression for everyone here, I'll make it a special exception today. Okay? And that's it. All the coins have been swapped in. So look, one coin with shell, 2 coin with shell, 3 coin with shell, 4 coin with shell. And also notice that the extra coin is in finger palm. You can switch it to classic palm. We're going to need it there for a bit to continue the routine. And we're all good. So we covered getting into it, which is like the hardest part for most people, and was also my thinking behind it, is if I can finally somehow get into it. And it was not possible normally. I had to shell 2 coins in the phase 4 and then shell 2 more in phase 5 to get to this point. But once you're here and it seems like everything's being examined and you're fair and you're doing crazy stuff, this is a great point to be. Super cool. And instead of having to have 3 coins on table where you're really restricted in Dean's version, though it looked really cool and the possibilities were really cool, I wanted to be able to have a more casual version where you could be able to do this, but without multi-layered systems or for shelling, if you know what I mean, for the original version. Not going too far into it. I just wanted to be able to do this. 9 coins looks like a cool diamond, because I really, really liked Dean's original idea on that. Super cool. So again, 1 coin in classic. All the coins are shelled, and we set them up in this T formation. Okay, this is how I came to it. This is my own take on it. So this is really, really cool going forward. We can reposition. If you say you have OCD, it makes it more logical, or you're just saying you want to make it perfect. So just some justification, because you do want to also make it look neat for the final display when you do it. And I'm just loosely playing with it, just getting a general idea for it. And when you're ready to go into it, okay, so still 1 coin classic one. We are going to mimic, do a miming motion like we did in
I believe, phase rush, okay? And when we're actually ready for it, we're going to steal off. So maybe we go here, like maybe feeling it, and we can do it right here. Actually in 2 motions. 1, 2, and on 2. Because if you want to be more direct, you could do it in 2 motions. So 1, 2 motions. Now we purse palm both the coins on left and right, okay? So we purse palm both of them, and then we cross hands. And once we cross hands, then we lay down the coins from purse palm, and then we slowly wave the hand as we come back. And we wanted them to be aligned on opposite sides, and it being in this quadrant right here, but neatly being in this quadrant. Because we're trying to make a whole diamond, and this is how the display came out, that you can do that, which looks really cool. So going back, okay, we go 1, we go 2. Okay, you can change the phasing if you want, but this is generally how it looks. So 1, 2, pick up the purse palm the shells, go cross-handed, it just looks cool. Give it a little wave, and show 2 coins have come. You can do 1 readjustment right here. I do 1 readjustment right here. I do 1 readjustment right here of the middle coins, okay? You could also use it to intentionally make it look neater, which is nice. We come to the top and bottom coins. We purse palm that. Okay. We cross hands again, and we make it about the same, along the same line of the first, second coins we dropped off. Okay. And then we do another little wave, and we send down and we send line perfectly. Give it a wave, and then on the final wave, so it's coming across. Boom, looks cool. Coming together one last time, and then you're going to drop the classic palm coin right along the center. So, in action, if I may. So, make it right, purse palm, okay, in this case, come across right here. You could realign even up to the last second of your hand so you can make it look nice. Give it another little wave, boom. And then come back again, so it's like you're going halfway. You're going to uncross, but you don't. So you go boom, and then you come back again, lay the coin down, drop from classic palm to the table, right along center, where you believe is center, and then come back again for 1 full wave, and then people could see a full diamond. So from here, it looks very, very ornate, nice, and it's 9 coins, 3, 6, 9, which is really, really nice in display. So let's go over it again. Okay, classic palm coin. We've done the setup, we've got it, and then we said, okay, we're going to align them just right. We align them in a cross formation. Then we can go 1, 2, purse palm, upper end, give it a little wave. You got 1. Readjust, like Dean Dill would do in his original explosion. I studied him decently well. 1, okay. 2, readjust along center. Purse palm from here, okay. And take a moment if you really need to readjust, okay. You can do it to music also as well. I offered that idea. Wave, show 2 more coins, but don't fully unbound your hands. So you wave, come back, and then drop the last coin, wave, and then you can show, like an open display, diamond. Booyah. So that is pretty amazing. Thank you, Dean, for inspiring this, you know, and everyone else who came before, and everyone who has their own version. You know, it's just like if I could take a pause for a sec, it's like the ultimate epitome of your skill as a magician. I argue, some people will argue all day it's the cups and balls and different things. And you could say that as the basis of a working magician, sure. But if you were to say your limits as a performer and the ingenuity and everything, explosion kind of takes the cake. And it's also why for people who choose to go that far and do a version of explosion, just the idea of it, it only makes me respect the person even more. So, you know, for one of the very first people to do it. Dean Dill, amazing. Nathan Gibson, you're next in line. You're amazing as well. And, you know, I think Griffin did his own. And believe it or not, about 18, 19 years later, you know, here's my version. Or being in Magic 18 to 19 years so far, I think. 20? I'm losing track. But the idea is that we all want to contribute and showcase the full potential. And to do an explosion of some sort is cool. I try to, in this case, modernize it so that it could be really useful for everyone. That, you know, it wasn't restricted to $1,000 price tag. Maybe half that with 4 shells. But anyways, let's do one more practice. Enough daddling. Again, we'll do it again. These are my side notes before my final notes. So, okay, that was cool. Okay, I'm going to show you something cool. Give it a wave. And you could still come across, even if the coin falls in that case, which it did, and you can still do it a wave. And you can still get a good result. And that was a minor epic fail, so knowing that even in this scenario, you can be covered. So, but let's say it didn't go awry. Okay, it got the first 2. Give it a wave. Boom. Readjust. Readjust. Purse palm. Okay. Give another little wave. They all nearly separate. They come back together again. Drop the last one. Display. You got 9 coins. And dang, that looks amazing. I really think Explosion itself in its own concept is an amazing routine. And it's kind of why I wanted to have my own version. Though I just didn't like the method. I mean, I loved the whole thing, but I wanted it to be a little bit more commercial. And maybe in this way, maybe I inspire a better version. Maybe it's a different version. Maybe this inspires more magicians to do Explosion overall. I don't know. But I wanted to share this, and I think it's just a great, great thing to be able to do and to show what's possible in Magic with some ingenuity minus some knuckle busting that needs to be done. I want to reduce a little bit if I can while making the magic more magical for the performer, or just feel greater for the performer that they can focus on their audience a little bit more while they see a high impact effect all the same. Just my thoughts on it. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Explosion Phase 5. If you've been watching it from beginning to finish, hope you enjoyed it. There's a lot of unique bits in here that took many years to collect and bring it all together. There's a lot to learn and to enjoy, and I think it's just wonderful. Anyways, with that said, hoping everyone's having a wonderful day, and see you in the next one.